Welcome to All for One and Modify All for None. Hey, I'm Eric, and in AL we have a command called Modify All. We have had this since the beginning of time, and it's a great function, but it's also a function that seems to, let's call it being misunderstood a bit. It's a function that sometimes gets into trouble. Because it has unintended functionality or people don't really know how to use it. So this video I'm gonna tell you how Modify All works and when to use it and when absolutely not to use it. So let's do that. Here is my Visual Studio Code, and I think today we're playing with vendors. I usually always play with customers, but mixed it up today. So let's think about modify all. So I can do rec.modify all. I specify a field. Let's do the address. 123 Best Street. Because let's actually verify. So the first one is a field, the next one is the new value. And notice when this one says Joker, so here's the weird thing, that AL has a type called Joker. But it's not like that I can go in and then I can create a Joker. That doesn't work. So Joker is a, oops, wow. Joker is a like an internal type that you will only find in built-in functions, meaning that this one will take any value. So there's something else that determines the type of this parameter. In this case, it's the field. So the field is also a Joker, which is that's whole other discussion. But the value here, the type of this one is dependent on this. So if I, instead of this, did 1, 2, 3, well, now this one has the wrong type. But if I change this into, now I need to find something. Then that's okay. Well, let's go back to what we had. Best Street. And then the third parameter is run trigger, which is perhaps if this parameter is true, the code in the onModify trigger is executed. If this parameter is false, default the code in onModify trigger will not be executed. So what happens? So the first thing we need to figure out is what's happening with onValidate. So maybe instead of doing this, maybe we should locate a field that has some validate code on it. Name. Put something in search name. So if we now completely break this, we can actually start here by saying use modify all search name and then blank. So we can try that and say that every record, and that's the important part. So I said modify all. That means right now every record that is within this filter. So there's always a filter on any record variable. Right now the filter that's here happens to not be a filter, so that means that all records. So as soon as I do something like this, I hit enter. In this case, I actually hit 5. I don't know why I said enter. I do modify all. So now search name is blank on every record as a single operation. And because the danger here is that the onModify, if this parameter is false. So by default, no validation or anything, you just pushes through and changes whatever you want. So let's change the name here now. But I'm totally messing up my vendor table. And we'll do this without the last one. Oh, let's actually put a false here so we can see what's happening. So we'll do false here and hit. Maybe I should have set a filter. Too late now, I guess. So at this point, all my customers are named 123 Best Street. There you go. But they have different photos. And we can see the search name is blank. So let's try to set this one to true and see what's happened. So now we know that the onValidate, because that's what the documentation said. But what about, sorry, onModify? Did I say? Well, we know that onModify is called. But what about onValidate? No, search name. So let's just verify that if I typed test here, we get test and search name, right? So ModifyAll is now not doing a field validation, it's only doing a record validation. Can we get it to do a field validation? Let's see if we can get into the parameters here. No, we cannot. So ModifyAll does not respect validate. That's the first gotcha that people sometimes jump into, that, oh, I want to change this field on everywhere, but it's not getting triggered. The next thing that I have seen quite often with this is a pattern that looks sort of like exactly like this. Wow. Here. So what is wrong with this? Well, we want to change apparently all the names to be the same. We want to change all the addresses to be the same. And if I run this, it works. We got an address or anything. But the problem here is that what's actually happening. So let's back up just for a second and see what does ModifyAll do. Well, if we were to write it ourselves, then what actually would happen is that we will start by an if rec.findSet. So we find everything, then we'll repeat until we have no more records. The classic find set pattern. In here we would now do rec.name equal 123 Best Street. Then we will do a rec, and we'll actually probably want to do a true up here. So this is for update. Then we'll do a rec.modify. Wow. And if we have a true up here, we have a true here. So this is what one ModifyAll is doing. If we have two, then the code behind the scene is like this. So these two lines resolves into this behind the scene, meaning that we grab all our vendors twice and we run through them twice. We change one field, we modify. So we modify every record twice. So very inefficient. So if this is what we want to do, then we don't need the second part. The only thing we need is to add this thing in here. And now we have the opportunity to say validate and do this correctly, because now we are controlling the loop. So it can be, here's the thing, and I very rarely actually uses ModifyAll. I find it difficult to. I would rather have this so I can see what's happening loud and clear, and I need to be able to control typically validation. But by doing this and having the fine set, for me at least, I can clearly see, okay, at this point, filters come into play. So whatever I have up here, wow, that was some bad typing. Let's see if we can do that better. I do reg.set range something, reg.set filter. I can see that, and I know the inner eye, the way you read code. Filters. I know that filters come into play, but a reg.modify is somehow. I'm gonna say, when you're playing chess or something like that, and you're scanning to see what is going on, is your bishop gonna hit something, whatever's happening. My code scanning for ModifyAll is not very good, and I know how it works and so on, but mentally, it kind of does a lot of stuff in a single line that is not very visible, I guess is my point. And in some cases it does it very bad because it does not validate the field. Anyway, I do use it once in a while. I think it came in originally in AL to like when you're on a sales document and you needed to clear a field on every line or stuff like that. I think that's where it was originally used, which was an acceptable use case. But now I rarely use it. So, but maybe you do. And you tell me that I'm completely wrong here, and give me all the good use cases actually. And we had a discussion online a week ago or something about whether you used it in it was the update pattern, the record store not there. Somebody used to ModifyAll as an upsert. I never understood that, but if you're the one with that comment, give me a new explanation, and I will read it again and see if I understand it this time. Anyway, that's AL ModifyAll hacking. Check this one out. There's good stuff in here. This one has been selected by the algorithm just for you. Go check it out. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.